Spokane, Washington. The snow is melting at Gonzaga University, and the West Coast Conference is heating up as well. The Bulldogs are turning it around after a slow start to league play, but they've got a tough one today as they host the best defensive team in the conference in the Santa Clara Broncos. We welcome you inside the McCarthy Athletic Center with former Gonzaga assistant coach Michelle Clark. I'm Greg Talbot. We knew the West Coast Conference was going to be up for grabs this year, but Gonzaga knocked off 14-1 Portland on Thursday, and Santa Clara shocked the league by beating Washington State down in Pullman. Anybody can beat anybody on any night in this league right now, Michelle.
They really can, Greg, and that's what makes playing in this conference that much fun this year, because any game is up for grabs. I mean, you look at the standings, Gonzaga's middle of the pack, but there's still a lot of games left to play.
Let's start with the Zags. It was their bench that delivered that huge win against the top-ranked Pilots. Taylor Dalton specifically, she scored 14. That was her breakout game as a Bulldog.
Yes, it was, and it was key for the Zags to have Dalton come off the bench scoring playing 26 minutes in the game and 14 points. That was the boost that the Zags needed to get that win against Portland. For the Broncos, Tess Heel transferred to Stanford in the offseason, but Malia Latu has helped them win some big games. She had 21-5 against Wazoo. Yes, Latu, a 5'8" senior. She's a good little player who had a great night in Pullman, as you mentioned, 21 points, collecting 5 rebounds and 2 steals. She's a hungry senior coming in here looking to get a win. Starting lineups tonight, Ines Betancourt back in the starting 5 for the Bulldogs to run point. That frees Allie Turner up to shoot. And that's what the Zags need, is Allie Turner looking for her shot today. Interestingly for Santa Clara, despite her 21-point game against the Cougs, Malia Latu not in the starting 5 tonight. We asked the coaches, she's healthy, she just isn't starting the game. So in her place, it'll be Hannah Rapp, with Yvonne Ejim in to tip for the Bulldogs against Georgia Grigor Apulu, the junior from Athens, Greece. Have a full house in the kennel today. Yvonne Ejim controls for the Bulldogs, and off we go from Spokane. Santa Clara, the top defense in the West Coast Conference. The Bulldogs are going to have trouble with that today. Tipped away and stolen by Olivia Pollard. A turnover right off the bat. That's number 305 this year for the Bulldogs, Michelle. How can they try to turn that around? It's been a point of emphasis taking care of the basketball. As you mentioned, Santa Clara, a great defensive team, but Gonzaga, they're really going to need to focus on not turning the ball over. Zags get the turnover right back. Ejim down low to Betancourt, and the UConn transfer drills a 3 to start the scoring. You like to see that early from Betancourt, getting hot from behind the arc. That's a good sign early on for the Zags. Her game on Monday against Pepperdine, as that one is missed by Grigor Apulu. That Pepperdine game was the first time she'd had double digits since Thanksgiving. Yes, and man, do they need her to come alive and just add a few chip-in points from the outside to free up the inside play for the posts. Hybens looking aggressive down low, but she'll reset to Turner as the true freshman finds Hybens. And it hits from the elbow. Hybens, 19-12 against Portland on Thursday. That is the kind of game they need from her. They really do. If Ejim's going to get her points, everybody knows that. But if Hybens can come in and have games like she did against Portland, it only adds to their success. Hannah Rapp gets to the rim. That was too easy. It was way too easy. And we saw the last play down, Santa Clara missed a little bunny. Gonzaga really needing to hone in on those plays defensively. Down low, Ejim missed it but draws the foul. Ejim so good at creating space and gaining that contact inside to get herself to the free throw line early in this game. Alana Goodchild checks in for Santa Clara as Ejim goes to the line. Vonnie, the West Coast Conference's leading scorer and rebounder this year, 7th in college basketball in points scored, as she misses the first. She's an All-American, right? Yep. I mean, her stats
First team.
Yes, get that right, first team, not just All-American. She is a truly special player.
She's now, after that last free throw, only 15 points away from 2,000 in her career. She could get that tonight. We're on a record watch for Vonnie all over the place as well, as this one will stay with Santa Clara.
I like to see how the Zags are picking up early. This little kind of soft two-quarter court trap here against Santa Clara, this is going to force them to draw out their offense and use a lot of the shot clock.
This is Maddie Nero running point for the Broncos. Great give off to Rapp. She missed it, but a second chance for them to reset. Corner three. Won't go down. Hybens the rebound. Turner pushes. Zags are lucky those didn't go twice.
2 easy bunnies for Santa Clara. I would say that's just nerves. I mean, this is a full arena, right, Greg? Lots of loud noise already, and it just is going to take them a bit to settle in.
Another turnover by the Bulldogs. Hybens was looking for Von Ejim down low. Nero gets the bunny that time. She's on the floor 36 minutes a game. We will almost never see her leave.
No, she is the floor general for the Broncos, really pushing the basketball. I thought that Gonzaga allowed her to get a little too deep there.
Ejim back to Betancourt. Turner. And they'll try this again. Ejim. Corner, three. Claire O'Connor.
Well, the 3 ball is open for the Zags early in this first quarter.
Claire O'Connor is a much better player, Michelle, as you know, when she scores early points. Against Pepperdine, she had 11 and 9. That's because she started hot out of the gate. If she doesn't start hot, she usually doesn't score very much. As we have a foul on the floor, that should be on Allie Turner, and it is.
It's a confidence thing for shooters, right?
Yeah,
you see
for
the ball
her.
go in early in the game, gives you that confidence going out throughout the rest of the game. Nice to see that from Claire O'Connor.
Malia Latu in for Santa Clara, and Esther Little checks in with Taylor Dalton for Gonzaga. This will be Taylor's 5th game back from injury. Here's Rapp on O'Connor. Shot clock winding, down to 5. It's Latu, driving, elevating, scoring, and 1.
Great take by Latu, recognizing the turn there as she's coming off of a screen. Kind of lost the basketball, but then created contact on Dalton. You see Dalton's hands up going, wait, I was straight up. There was still a lot of contact there.
Latu finishes. She's an interesting case. She is a truly local gal. She's from East Palo Alto, started her college career at USF, and then transferred to Santa Clara. Just didn't want to leave the Bay Area. Who could blame her?
I mean, who would want to leave the Bay Area? Beautiful sunny skies.
Allie Turner for 2.
Allie Turner, that is exactly what you mentioned at the start of the game, Greg. What they want to see, Gonzaga having her come off those screens and look for her shot. That little dribble jumper there is exactly her game.
Having her run the point, she was very good at it, but they need her to be scoring 15, 20 a game.
Yeah, I mean, as a freshman, it's a tall task to say, hey, be the ball distributor and put points on the board.
Rapp drives, turns, shoots, off, and Ejim the rebound. Vonnie, number 2 all-time at Gonzaga now in career rebounds after she passed the great Shelby Cheslick here on Monday night. Off the ball, offensive foul on Allie Turner. That is 2 really fast fouls for the freshman.
It is, and a little, not I'm sure what Coach Fortier wants to see, but nonetheless, Betancourt can come in here, and she hit an early 3 and continue to try to contribute for the Zags.
Getting Allie Turner in foul trouble is probably going to be priority number 1 or 2 for any team that plays the Bulldogs this year. Latu had it tipped by Betancourt and recovers. Here's Pollard. Now to Nero. Latu, less than 10 to shoot. Pollard, back to Latu. Driving, and gave it away. I was hoping for a foul. She didn't get it. Betancourt to Little. Outside, O'Connor. Just long on her second 3 attempt. Out of bounds, and that'll take us into our first media timeout. Bulldogs leading 11-7 after a couple great threes. Zags leading Santa Clara by 4 at the under 5 media timeout in the first quarter as we welcome you back to Spokane. There's Mount Hyben standing up on the right side of your screen. Her game against Portland on Thursday was massive, 19-12.
What do they need from her every game in order for them to win these big games, Michelle?
Well, they don't need 19 and 12. That was like a big standout game for her, and I love to see that from Hybens, but they just need some consistency. 12 and 6 maybe, you know, and giving some relief to Ejim to not feel like she has to carry the load inside in the post play.
Bree Salenbine drills a 3 off the bench, and what a week she has had. Came back in Monday's game against Pepperdine from her ACL tear. Her first game back since February. Couple of points. Played on Thursday night, 8 points in 11 minutes against the Pilots. She really brings a whole new look to this team when she's in the game.
She really does. And, man, if you just want to look at her stats, it's efficiency, and she showed it right there. First 2 seconds in the game, an early 3.
Olivia Pollard misses an easy one. Second chance. She gets that down. But that has been the story these first couple minutes, Michelle, is Santa Clara missing shots from inside 10 feet.
Yeah, the Broncos are getting all the looks that they want, but they're missing some bunnies. They got away with a good rebound and a putback there.
Little. Esther doesn't shoot much. She tried there and draws the foul.
I like to see Esther Little being aggressive, getting to the rim, and getting Pollard in a little bit of foul trouble there, right? I think she picked up her first foul there. She's a good player for the Broncos and somebody you want to take it at.
So here's Little at the free throw line. Already a senior. Time flies.
Yeah.
That one rattles off. She had 4 assists in the Portland game. She's gotten really great at those quick passes to the cutting guards.
Yeah, she has. She's kind of that, you know, picking up all the little stats on the score sheet, you know, the assists, the rebounds, the steals, the block shots. Esther Little does all of that.
Zags with full court pressure for the second straight possession. You rarely see this from them. Latu to Goodchild. Around and off, and Hybens the rebound.
You're right, but that could be what's throwing Santa Clara off a little bit and knocking them off their game.
Salenbine, corner to Dalton. Taylor lost it, up with it, long. Loose ball, Goodchild collects, fights off Esther Little, who hits the deck. She got an elbow to the face. She gets up slowly and is making her way up the court with tears in her eyes as that ball is out of bounds. It'll be interesting to see if they leave her in the game here.
Esther Little got really close to the Bronco player there, and you see her swing through with the elbow right across the forehead.
No blood, but they are going to take her out of the game anyway. Yvonne Ejim has her first half rest cut short.
Nothing intentional, I don't think,
No.
Greg. I mean, that's
No.
just, you know, clearing the basketball and being strong, putting it over your head.
Looks like our referees are going to take a look at this over at the scorer's table, and they are.
You know, I think that's a common thing we're seeing a lot of this year, just a review of plays like that. Anytime an elbow comes across a forehead, just ensuring it's not intentional.
Well, this looked pretty unintentional.
It really did. You know, you see Esther Little coming into her space, but it doesn't look like she's coming across or down. She's just clearing the basketball, and bad timing.
The truly good news is that she appears okay, because one thing the Bulldogs cannot afford would be any more injuries or even just players out. Remember at the start of the year, they were only suiting up 9 players.
Right, and that was difficult to find a rotation when you're only, you know, working with 5, 6 players. And now, you know, you've got Dalton coming back, Salenbine coming back, and you've got a little bit more to work with off the bench.
No doubt about it. So the early momentum of this game still belongs to Gonzaga. Why is that, Michelle?
You know, I like the pressure that they're putting on the Broncos. They're kind of creating their own game. They're saying, we want you to play at our pace and our tempo. We're going to dictate the style of this play. And Broncos, like we mentioned, they're getting good looks. They're just not knocking them down. But Gonzaga getting hot from the 3 early, that is a good sign.
It is interesting, though, that the defense for Gonzaga has been working, because like we've said, defense has not been their strong suit this year. They're giving up 70 points a game. That's the worst in the West Coast Conference.
Which is unlike the Zags in the past, right?
Yep.
In the past, we've been so used to a Gonzaga basketball team that locks people down defensively. So it's been an area of struggle. But like we said, I like the early three-quarter court pressure trap that they're putting on the Broncos and really truly setting the pace for this game.
Seems like one of those things where Coach Fortier knew something had to change on the defensive end, so she's just trying a couple new things.
Yeah, and why not? You know, you throw things out there, you see what sticks, you see how your team responds, you see how the opponent responds, and so far, it's been in the Gonzaga's favor, giving them a little bit of a trap.
Referees conferring here at midcourt. We should hear from them in just a second on the ruling of Esther Little up in Alana Goodchild's grill. Getting the game slowed down in the first quarter like this, Michelle, who does this benefit? Anyone?
You know, these are both so evenly matched teams for the most part. I don't know if it benefits one or the other, but it'll be interesting to see how this first quarter plays out.
We'll hear from the referees. Michelle? So we have a common foul and an intentional foul, so we're going to shoot free throws on both ends before the Bulldogs get the ball back.
You know, I think these plays and situations are so difficult for referees in these games to make that call. It probably is the right call. So, yes, it's a foul, they're saying. So Santa Clara is going to shoot their free throws, and then Gonzaga is going to go back and shoot for the intentional rip across the forehead on Esther Little.
Yeah, so this will be Kaya Ingram, the grad student from New Mexico. First point of the night for her. Plenty of grad students in this Santa Clara rotation. 6 out of 9 players who actually play for them. And their actual rotation this year are grad students or seniors. They're very experienced.
They are. And you know what, Greg? I think this might be the last year on all of those rosters across the country where we're seeing all these grad students because of that COVID year.
God willing. Bree Salenbine on the other end. She had such a great standing ovation when she came in Monday against Pepperdine. If you have not been following her career at Gonzaga, that was not her first ACL tear. That was her second. She's gotten to play less than 50 games over now her 4th year on campus as a Zag because of various injuries. I also didn't know that she had an ACL in high school. She's worked through so much.
She has really overcome a lot in the injury front, and it is so fun to see her back on the court.
Here's Dalton to Ejim. Now Salenbine, so dynamic, cutting, went up hard and draws the foul. Still a little scary to see her go into contact.
I think so. Anytime everybody kind of cringes when you see her create contact and fall on the floor. But wow, what a move there. Spinning, getting to the rim, creating contact. You see how long she is, and she really truly does a great job of using her length to her advantage.
Hit a big 3, now give her 4 early points. Is it crazy to think that the Zags may have won some of those early season games they lost if Bree had been healthy and available?
You know, coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? But yeah, they would have looked a lot different in some of those games for sure.
Here's Latu. Finds Goodchild. Misses again from inside 5 feet. That has been a problem for the Broncos. Great pass to Hybens. She'll get 2. That is the kind of pass they have been looking for from Ines Betancourt.
Yes, and you love Hybens going to work early on Pollard. That she just got her second foul of the night, and she will probably go take a rest on the bench. That's a big play for Hybens.
Nice to see him out getting people in foul trouble instead of being in foul trouble herself. That has been kind of an issue recently.
Reversing the tables, yes.
Yeah, my, how the turntables, right? All right, so the Bulldogs have opened up a double-digit lead here before the end of the first quarter. Not something many people would have seen coming given Santa Clara's win against Wazoo on Thursday night.
Betancourt just
That was an unnecessary foul that Betancourt just committed.
It really was, because they had a great trap. She just, you know, sometimes you see the basketball and you get a little overly zealous and you want to reach for it. And what it does is it sends Latu to the line to shoot free throws.
It also sends Betancourt herself to the bench, bringing Allie Turner back into the game, who picked up 2 unnecessary early fouls for the Bulldogs as well.
And you see Coach Fortier talking to Allie Turner saying, hey, just be smart, work your feet, keep your hands open, don't get that 3rd foul.
Second bite of the apple here for the Broncos. Ingram out top. Now Latu. Caught in traffic. Goodchild to Pollard on Salenbine. Traveled before the shot.
Great defense by the Zags there. Ejum and Salenbine, great communication. You see Salenbine jumping up early, and they just switched. It's nice when you have such a long player in Salenbine, and she can switch, and she can guard a post player down low.
So we know that Allie Turner can run as a true point guard. We saw her do it on Monday against Pepperdine. Great give down low to Mount Hybens. How about the passing from Yvonne Ejum?
Just great poise by Ejum to watch that cut happen, get her the ball right in her hands, and being able to knock it down by Hybens.
Yeah, Vonnie's going to be an All-American this year. She can truly do it all. Latu, baseline. Tipped away by Salenbine. Santa Clara ball, but she is dynamic out there. Salenbine is giving it her all.
She is, and you know what? She's just a smart player. I talked earlier about her length. She did a great job defensively, using her length, backing off, not creating the foul, and knocking the ball out of bounds.
Great designed play, but Latu missed from probably around 5 feet again. Esther Little to Ejum. O'Connor back in the game now. Turner, 3. The rare missed 3 from the number 6 3-point shooter in America. Shoots 44% from downtown. Corner, Ingram, no. Goodchild shoved Esther Little off of her, but there will be no foul as she chased down the rebound. Little's grabbing her jaw. I think she might have gotten another piece of her. Goodchild and Little is turning into a
battle.
Something a little more than that, actually. It's getting a little borderline too physical down there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's what you want to see, is that healthy competition, but they might have taken it to a different level and might need to cool off a little bit.
Narrow to Grigoropoulos. Back to Narrow. Less than 10 to shoot, less than a minute in the quarter. Latu gets that one to go.
Great ball movement by the Broncos and staying poised there, moving the basketball around, and Latu finding that little gap inside the seam.
Ejum, short 3. Hybens, great rebound. And it's pulled down by Santa Clara. Korolenko, her first rebound, and very impressive in traffic. 20 to play in the quarter. No shot clock now for Santa Clara. Little waiting for Narrow. 10 in the quarter. Here goes the sophomore. O'Connor on D. Latu, 3. No. Ejum, rebound. And they will let the quarter end that way instead of bringing it back for an extra half second. Bulldogs leading by 9 at the end of the first, but Santa Clara is making this thing a fight. Back to start the second quarter in Spokane. Gonzaga leading Santa Clara by 9, and the reason that is where we are is because Santa Clara has been missing shot after shot from inside 10 feet. They end the first quarter shooting less than 30% from the field, Michelle.
Yeah, 5 of 17. Listen, they're getting shots, they're getting looks, just as many, if not more than Gonzaga, obviously, but they're just not able to convert them. I would say the conversation in that huddle there was probably, we got to make shots.
Korolenko gets the shooter's roll for 3.
Good start.
Long 2, rather.
Good start in this second quarter for the Broncos, seeing that basketball go through the net.
Certainly helpful for them as McKinley Dalen begins the second quarter on the floor for the Zags off the bench. Now Allie Turner, pretty quiet in the first quarter. Dalen getting aggressive. And now 10 on the shot clock for her. O'Connor on Latu. Little driving. Down low to Dalen, and they gave it up. Gonzaga's 4th turnover. Dalen could have shot that ball.
Yeah, she could have just rose up and shot over her.
Gregoropoulos now pretty quiet in the first quarter. Latu crosses up and shoots. No. Great rebound by Little. She'll slow it down. And now Yvonne Ejim to Claire O'Connor. Claire hit a big 3 to start the game. Rather quiet since. Now Ejim doubled up. Back to Little. Drives. No foul. Everyone was expecting a foul. In fact, everyone was expecting a foul so much that they all stopped running.
They did. They kind of paused like, what, something happened there.
Yeah. Instead of this will just be out of bounds and Gonzaga ball. That's weird. 20 seconds on the shot clock, though, as Little goes out and Taylor Dalton checks back in. What do they want out of Taylor Dalton in terms of per game now that she's healthy?
Per game, I would say points, coming in and getting some points on the board.
Speaking of points, there's Yvonne Ejim. Go ahead.
Beautiful play right there by Ejim, but I would say Dalton coming in and putting some points on the board for him, playing some good defense, grabbing some rebounds. But if they could get 6 to 8 points from her off the bench, that would be key.
Pollard down low. Beautiful up and under from her. She now has 4 points on the day, but that's well below her season average. She's their leading scorer, usually scores 15 a game, and Dalton gives that one away. 2 quick turnovers from the Bulldogs.
Hey, we talked about it at the beginning of the game, right, Greg? Those turnovers are going to be key.
Pollard missed that one, luckily, because she was out here 2 hours before the game just trying to hit threes.
Interesting from a big.
She hit 95 threes last year for Santa Clara. Threes, interestingly, at least last year, were part of her MO. Here's Dalen. Great long 2.
Nice. Dalen just very controlled, focused, caught it within range, feet were set, and it's like she knew that ball was going in before it left her hands.
Now, McKinley Dalen did not play in that game against Portland. Good to see her back out there and healthy and looking good.
Yes.
Pollard hits that 3, got that one right back.
Hey, you teed that one up there, Greg. She was calling for it.
It's amazing how good Pollard has been on offense this year, considering no one else is averaging even 10 points a game for Santa Clara. Ejim just threw that one out of bounds, and another unforced error. That has been the story of the last couple of weeks for this team, Michelle.
You know what? You got to give credit to the Broncos, though. They obviously, Ejim is an All-American. She's going to see 2 players coming at her every single game, and that's what they did. She just was trying to get it to a teammate and couldn't.
Santa Clara is the best defense in the West Coast Conference. They only allow 63 points a game. Teams only shoot 36% against them, and they only let teams shoot 26% from 3. And speaking of threes, there's Maddie Nero. It's a 5-point game, and Gonzaga wants a timeout.
And 2 of 6 from the 3-point line. Now they're starting to heat up from behind the arc.
We'll take a break. Boy, Santa Clara right back in it. Santa Clara goes on a 6-0 run, makes it a 2-point game, and forces Gonzaga into a timeout. Couple of big threes. The Broncos have made 3 of their last 4 from downtown, Michelle.
They have, and that really has boosted this energy for the Broncos coming out, finally hitting some shots from the outside and bringing a little bit of energy to the game.
In the last 3.5 minutes, they have improved their shooting percentage from less than 30 to now 40%. That was a big run.
That's a very big boost for the Broncos.
Here's Allie Turner with some electricity. Great pass, and it's Dalen down low to finish.
Great pass, great play by the Zags. Nice backdoor cut. Hit her right on the money.
The second electric pass from Mount Hybens.
And you know what? Those are the little things that we always can expect from Hybens. Now they just need her to score a little bit more points and look for her shot as well.
Good child. Lucky they missed that 3 if you're the Zag defense. They keep leaving her open, but she can actually shoot. And another unforced error. In transition, Salenbine tipped it away from Hannah Rapp, who was expecting a foul.
And you see Hannah Rapp's frustration after that one.
Dalen. Salenbine trapped. Trying to get away and not another unforced error. Hybens, no on the three. Dalton tipped it. Loose ball, tied up. Santa Clara's got it. It's Maddie Nero.
Man, they're fighting for the basketball, but the Broncos are coming up with it.
Wrap down low. That was a great sequence. Back to a 2-point game. Santa Clara's right back in this thing. This is the kind of game we expected, actually, Michelle. Not really the first quarter.
Truly, it was, yes. And both these teams battling right now.
Dalen. Gave it away. Salenbine was starting to move the other way, and it was too late to pass.
And that's just one of those unforced turnovers, like you've said before, Greg. That resulted in not even an offensive play for the Zags.
Salenbine getting aggressive. Jump ball goes to the Zags.
You see Salenbine going into that huddle right there, telling her teammates, you guys, we have to take care of the basketball. Stop turning it over.
3 subs for the Zags. Ejim back in the game. Betancourt back in the game to run point. And Cristabel Osorobo, who they keep giving minutes to in the first half. They really seem to like the freshman.
They do. You know, she's wiry. She's hardworking. She does a great job defensively. Coming in here now, she just needs to do the minimum. Take care of the basketball, distribute it. If she has an open shot, knock it down.
Hybens, 3, short. And they'll push. It's Nero on Betancourt. Finishes. Rather, that was Kaya Ingram, the grad student from New Mexico.
Great little step through by Ingram and finishing that difficult shot in transition.
Slowing it down, a tie ball game. Ejim breaks the tie.
It's nice to see your All-American step up in a moment like that and say, okay, give me the basketball. I'm going to go straight to the rim.
We are getting good here as we approach the end of the first half. Latu had Hybens waiting for her on the other side of the screen, thought better of it. Ingram, beautiful long 2, ties it up again.
Great recognition by Ingram there. The Zags have been jumping early on those screens. 1-2 dribble to the baseline, pull-up jumper. Great play.
Hybens for Betancourt. Ejim, what a give to Hybens! Goes through the contact, no foul, and that was something pretty.
I loved that play. Little distraction on the other side. Left Hybens there for a backdoor cut, and Ejim hit her right on the money.
These teams are just trading punches like a heavyweight fight. They keep landing shots. Pollard would have been a huge 3. Zag ball out of bounds. Finally, someone gets a stop.
Yeah, you know, but credit to the Zags defensively. They're sticking to that trap, and they're making the Broncos take an early shot or use a lot of the shot clock, which is outside of the game that they prefer to play.
Bulldogs have made 5 of their last 7 shots. They're getting efficient. O'Connor to Hybens. Betancourt to Ejim. Long 2, you bet.
Long 2, but that is a shot that Ejim makes all night long.
Vonnie coming into this game only 171 more points necessary to pass the great Heather Bowman from the class of 2010 and make her first all-time in career scoring. Tipped away. Here's Dalton. Finishes.
Again, a great trap up early by the Zags. Good defense and resulted in a breakaway 2 by Dalton.
6-0 run for the Bulldogs. Timeout Santa Clara. Michelle, how'd they turn that around?
You know what? They just sticking to their defensive fundamentals. They've done a great job of that little 2-quarter court trap. They're doing a better job now of not reaching. You see Dalton there getting a tip on the basketball that resulted in this breakaway layup, where before we were getting in foul trouble and reaching in. They got smart. They listened to their coaches, just say, hey, get wide with your hands. And that was a great turnover there for the Zags.
Something worth noticing, the Bulldogs try to do that trap right after they turn the ball over. It's them trying to get the ball back.
Yes, yeah, off of made baskets, off of turnovers. It's like, okay, let's redeem ourselves and do something defensively to get the basketball back in your hands.
Really interesting that was the lineup that made that 6-0 run because minus Ejim, that was not really a scoring lineup that was out there. That was a defensive lineup.
It was, yeah. But you know what? Sometimes you can create offense off of your defense, and that's exactly what that lineup did.
Santa Clara trying to eat back into this lead. It was a tie game just 2 minutes ago. Narrow. Couldn't get around the twin towers of Little and Hybens. Ingram driving into the paint. Mia Curtis back to Ingram. Missed that one. And the Zags will make a move here with about 2 minutes to go in the first half. The shots have been falling for them recently. Claire O'Connor back to Ejim. Turner has been quiet offensively. Not anymore. There's Allie Turner. They need points from her. Now she's got 4. Why has she been so quiet in the first half?
You know, she got in foul trouble, so she had to spend some time on the bench.
Okay.
And that kind of throws you off of your groove of finding a flow for the game. I love how poised she was on that play. Nice little pull-up jumper. She was just calm and under control the whole time. That is her game.
Here's Maddie Narrow. Back to Ingram. Zags playing a tight zone here. Narrow. Back to Ingram. 3 to shoot. She gave it up. Ejim has it in the paint.
Another great job by the Zags making the Broncos go deep into their shot clock and resulted in a turnover.
O'Connor. Over to Turner. Zags slowing it down. About a minute to go in the half. O'Connor drives. Great pass to Esther Little.
I like the ball movement that the Zags are creating right now. Good dribble penetration. They're being patient, looking for their teammates on those backdoor cuts. Great play there. Nice dish pass.
This was a tie game recently. As Narrow misses the 3, the Bulldogs have now opened it up to a double-digit lead. They're on a 10-0 run. Hybens to O'Connor. Ejim on Gregoropoulos. Vaughnie, what a dish to Mount Hybens. The passing is out of this world.
It really is. It's like, wow, the synergy between this group right now. They know where they're going and where to expect them, and they're doing a great job of off-ball and on-ball movement.
Maddie Narrow out top, 10 to play in the half. The Zags defense has been great. Narrow trapped. It's another turnover. O'Connor to Ejim at the horn.
Did it go?
Did it go? They're going to give it to her. 45-31 at the half. That's a yes.
That's a yes, and a great play to end the half for the Zags. Beautiful.
Well, I have to think Coach Lisa Fortier is going to be happy. She'll join us here right now with our halftime interview. Coach, a 14-0 run by your team to end the first half. What changed after that timeout?
We got stops. When we were getting stops early, then it was looking good. Then we let them drive to the basket, shoot the 3, and then once we started getting stops again, then you can run transition. We can find each other. We're a improving transition team, an improving passing team, and we look like we're playing how we're supposed to if we can get the defensive stops.
Olivia Pollard is one of the best shooters in the conference. You guys have really bottled her up in the first half. How?
Just trying to make sure that everybody knows she has a whole key on our paper, and that's just about her. So we haven't wanted to lose her in transition. We haven't wanted to let her get any open 3s or any left-hand drives. I think that she was a little too effective around the basket, going to her left. We need to keep her right when we can. But she's a tough player, and it requires our whole team to be aware of her.
Coach Fortier, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, right before we go, I feel obligated to tell you at home that they took those points off the board. It was 45-31. It's now 43-31 here in the building. We'll come back and show you more highlights and stats after this on ESPN+. Back here in the McCarthy Athletic Center in Hooptown, USA. Bulldogs leading Santa Clara by 12. As we welcome you back inside the kennel with the great Michelle Clark, I'm Greg Talbot. This was a tie game with less than 3 minutes to go in the first half. Gonzaga goes on a 14-0 run to close it. Michelle, how'd they do it?
It's their defense. That little three-quarter court trap that they were doing, it started finally working for them. They weren't stealing, trying to reach in and create steals. They were getting turnovers off of that. And then just that momentum shift, knocking down shots, Ejim getting some good shots, Allie Turner finally knocking down some shots, and that momentum just kept rolling with them.
We talked at the beginning of the game about the weirdness and the craziness right now in the West Coast Conference. We have a couple games that have already gone final in the WCC this afternoon. So we'll show you the updated standings as of right now. Washington State did beat Oregon State, which is maybe not surprising considering Oregon State is not really who they were last year when they made that deep run pretty late into March. But USF, after they beat the Zags, they're still undefeated, Michelle. That's the surprise.
That is the surprise, absolutely. USF, it's fun to see these teams rise up and create a little shakeup in the conference, right? But listen, Greg, there's still a lot of games left to play. Gonzaga still needing to play WSU and St. Mary's. A lot could shake out from now to the end of conference play.
And it happened fast because when we were here on Monday broadcasting the Pepperdine game, that last version of that graphic that you're seeing had Portland up there at 3-0. All of a sudden, they're right in the middle of the conference at 3-2.
Exactly. A lot can change, right? Depending on how this game shakes out, right? Santa Clara, they beat WSU on the road last night. We're seeing a great matchup right now. Gonzaga did a great job to end that half, coming out on top. But really, it's anybody's game, like you said.
Zags by 12, but Santa Clara went on a run in the second quarter to tie it. They could get right back in this thing with a couple more shots. We'll show you first half stats, highlights, and a whole lot more after this on ESPN+. Gonzaga leading WCC rival Santa Clara by 12 here inside the McCarthy Athletic Center. We welcome you back to our halftime show with the great Michelle Clark. I'm Greg Talbot. Let's show you some of these first half highlights. And for Santa Clara, the problem for them early in the game was they missed so many shots from inside 5 feet. But Michelle Clark, they really started to make all those shots after the first 5 minutes.
They really did. I mean, they weren't shooting a great percentage early on, and then they came out and kind of broke through that 30% threshold. And as you see, Latu breaking through, finding her spot on the glass there. And easy buckets around the rim, where before they were missing a lot of those bunnies, and then the three-point lane opened up for them as well. That was huge for Santa Clara as they made that push to come back.
As for the Bulldogs, it was the passing that was out of this world.
It really was passing on and off, right on the ball and away from the ball, making cuts to the rim. You see Ejim here, great pass to Hybens down low, just looking for their teammates, and their teammates moving without that ball in their hands, and then knocking down the easy bunnies that Santa Clara struggled to make early on.
Mount Hybens was really the star passer, and then you see her finishing there too.
Yes, nice to see her finish with some easy twos around the rim. It really does open up a lot of offense for Gonzaga when Hybens can score.
A lot of the time it's these quick inside 5 feet passes that really get the job done for them.
It does, because that's their bread and butter, and those are the higher percentage shots that go in, and so you're going to want to see a lot more of that from the Zags here in the third and fourth quarter.
We'll show you some halftime stats here coming on the other side of the break and tip off the second half between the Zags and Broncos right after this. 12 as we're back to begin the second half of action today from the McCarthy Athletic Center. Greg Talbot and Michelle Clark with you here in Spokane. Let's show you the first half stats of this one, and a couple specific numbers are going to tell the story. Gonzaga, boy, the field goal percentage off the charts because of that late second quarter run.
Yes, and you know what? Knocking down shots really adds some confidence, and then other players start knocking down shots, and that was a good push by the Zags in that to end that second quarter.
Bulldogs also just about hitting their season three-point percentage, which is top 25 in the country. They average 37. They're hitting 38. That'll do.
Yes, that will do. I think if you're a coach on the Gonzaga team, you're going, I'll take that. That's a pretty good percentage. I will take that all game long. But, man, Greg, those assists, 12 assists. I mean, that is team basketball. 9 players with points on the stat sheet, 12 assists. It kind of makes up for those turnovers that are on the stat sheet for them. 9 different Bulldogs scored in the first half. That's amazing. The other statistic that wasn't on there that is still, as you might imagine, slightly troublesome, is the turnovers. They have 8, which is less than their out-of-control season average. It's still too many. It really is still too many, and that was something we talked about early on. That's a key for the Zags is to limit those turnovers. The team basketball kind of makes up for that, but really they had some unforced turnovers in that first and second quarter that didn't need to be there, probably 3 of them, which would have put them at 5 turnovers, which you're like, I'll take 5 turnovers at half, but 8 is way too many.
It'll be interesting to see who Coach Fortier sends out there to begin the second half. In case you weren't with us, Ines Betancourt is back in the starting lineup, running point to free Allie Turner up to score for this team. The issue is that Allie Turner only scored 4 first-half points, but that's partially because of her foul trouble.
Yes, partially because of that foul trouble. And I'm excited to see Betancourt come in, run that point, and really allow Allie to play that true 2 position and find her shot a little bit more in this third quarter.
Allie Turner has gone for double digits 13 times already this year as a true freshman. But this is kind of what happened in the Pepperdine game as well. Slow first half and then electric third and fourth quarters.
Which is great when you already have 9 players with points on the board and you're still waiting for Allie Turner to turn it on and you've got 2 more quarters to play. I'd say you're sitting in a good spot.
If you're Santa Clara here coming out for the third quarter, you had this game tied. Gonzaga went on a 14-0 run to end the half. What do you want to turn around if you're Santa Clara?
Well, Santa Clara, I bet $1 million they had a chalk talk about that 2-quarter court trap that Gonzaga put on them, and it talked about ways to break it. So hopefully they come out of this timeout, or excuse me, this halftime with a better game plan of breaking that little press and getting some easy 2s.
Today's starting 5 back out there for the Bulldogs. Betancourt to run point, Allie Turner at the 2. You know they want her to score more in the second half. Narrow, great dish to Grigoropoulos. She missed it from inside 5 feet again. Cross court to Ingram. She was aggressive in the second quarter. Great give down low. Pollard up and under, and she traveled.
That's a great move by her, good awareness. She knew she was deep underneath the rim, but she just shuffled those feet a little bit too much.
Pollard had 7 points in the first half. She averages 15. She is their best scorer, but they were kind of a quiet 7 points. Great give down low to Ejim. A risky pass pays off, and Allie Turner with an electric assist.
Great job by Ejim keeping that basketball alive. I think she had one hand kind of hooked behind her back and grabbed it with her left and went up.
Should that have been a foul?
It was, you know, this early on in the third quarter, I'm glad it was a no call.
Fair enough. Recovered by Pollard. Nearly hit that blind turnaround shot. She's really something. Clara O'Connor now. Hit a big 3 to start the game. Ejim, the closely guarded 2.
I mean, that's a scouting report, right? You have Yvonne Ejim creating that much space down low. That can't happen that early coming out of a halftime.
Yvonne Ejim, 11 points. Look at this great pass. Ejim, how do you stop that? You can't.
You can't. She does her work so early, it's hard.
Bulldogs, another great run to start the half. Yvonne Ejim, after that last bucket, now has 11 points on the night, make that now 59 consecutive games where she has gone into double figures. Zags lead by 16 as Santa Clara comes out of the timeout they just called. Maddie Narrow bottled up, and Santa Clara will try this again as we welcome you back to Spokane. Hannah Rapp driving, 5 to shoot. That's a questionable foul call.
That is a tough call. Allie Turner did nothing wrong there. She's just in a defensive stance. The Broncos.
That's number 3 on Allie Turner, and that's going to be a problem. Now, the Zags have a big enough lead that it might not change the outcome of the game, but that's not something you can have this year as your most electric three-point shooter fouling out. Goodchild, speaking of threes.
Hey, Goodchild can knock those down. She had a hand in her face. Good job defensively by the Zags. It's just Broncos came out with that one.
O'Connor, brutal screen set by Hybens. O'Connor can't finish, but Mount chases it down and gets it on the second chance.
You know what? That was textbook by Hybens. She held that screen. There was no question of an offensive foul there, and then she rolled and got herself 2 points.
Throw this one into the backcourt. That'll be a violation over and back. Zags will get this one back. Their defense has been so tenacious. They've been forcing really bad Santa Clara passes.
They really have been dictating the tempo with those traps. Anytime there's an on-ball screen, it's an automatic trap, and it's really throwing the Broncos off their game.
Here's Ines Betancourt. How does the lineup look to you, Michelle, with her running point again today?
You know, I like the lineup. I think
Santa Clara ball.
Betancourt needs to do a good job of just distributing the basketball, understanding her role and her assignment of distributing the basketball to the key players that we need to get it to score those points. If she can understand that, I like that lineup.
Because they don't need 10 points from her, right? What they need is 7 assists.
Yes, they need consistency. 7 assists, distributing that basketball, grabbing a few rebounds, and then really truly taking on that floor general role.
Yvonne Ejim, the great rebound for the Bulldogs. Number 2 all-time at GU on the boards. Past the great Shelby Cheslick on Monday against Pepperdine, who's still playing overseas, by the way, in Turkey, which is amazing. Always been a stud, that great Shelby Cheslick.
Yes, she was so fun. I got the privilege of coaching her. And it was much like what we saw right there by Yvonne Ejim, knocking down that long 2, which we know she does, just smooth.
Yvonne Ejim now only 2 points away from the career 2,000 mark. So she should get there today. Ingram getting aggressive and the roll.
Tough play there by Ingram with a much taller Hybens over her, just using her pivot foot and finding that opening.
O'Connor for Ejim. Great pass. Hybens spinning and shooting and gets it.
Great job by Hybens, coming alive inside, looking for her shot. Ejim getting her the basketball there, and Hybens going to work.
That made Taylor Dalton over at the scorer's table flash a big smile, that sequence. That's a supportive teammate. Latu, short. That'll be a foul on Claire O'Connor down low. She sent Santa Clara's Kaya Ingram to the deck.
It looked like Clara O'Connor was just doing a typical block out there.
I thought so.
Great baseline drive by Ejim, and then finding Hybens, who went to work.
Claire O'Connor goes to the bench. Taylor Dalton checks in. 3. No from Narrow. Santa Clara three-point shooting has gone cold, back to under 30% on the day after that miss.
And you know what? You can't expect to come into the McCarthy Athletic Center and shoot that percentage and walk away with a win.
Zags passing through the zone. Dalton connects for 3.
Dalton coming in off the bench, knocking down an early 3. I would say Coach Fortier is happy with that.
Zags have hit their last 4 shots from the floor and opened up a 20-point lead as Narrow misses. They've missed all these shots from inside the free throw line today. Esther Little back into the game now. Ejim back for Betancourt. Hybens. Oh, she loves that turnaround shot.
You know, Hybens is feeling it right now, as she should. I love that little elbow jumper for her. They didn't come out in time, and she just knocks it down.
Zags are on a 7-0 run in the last minute. They've gotten really hot as Santa Clara has gotten quiet. Latu. Great give. Pollard fouled on the 3 by Yvonne Ejim. Ejim is contesting this with our referees, but they're going to get 3 free throws here on the other side of this break because that's the under 5 media timeout. A lot of free throws coming for Santa Clara. See if they can eat into this lead with that help after this. 22 midway through the third quarter as they send the lineup back out there. Yvonne Ejim is not taking the floor for the Bulldogs, but we are on record watch for Miss Ejim. She is 3 points away from 2,000. Additionally, now she only needs 30 more points to be number 1 in rebounding and pass Kay Koppelman from the early 1980s. As this is Olivia Pollard at the free throw line. Also, she only needs 160 more points to pass Heather Bowman from the class of 2010 for that all-time scoring record. So all eyes on Vonnie here over the next few nights.
Yes, it will be. And I'm sure she'll put on a display for everybody.
It's never been any other way with her, one of the true GOATs. Maddie Narrow back out there to run point for Santa Clara. Another chance taken away by Betancourt. The Yukon transfer slows it up, finds Salenbein. Didn't quite have enough time for the three there.
I like to see that from Betancourt, that tough defense and creating a turnover there.
Great give down low to Hybens. It was a perfect pass from Esther Little, but she'll go to the free throw line. Those passes, the high arcing ones, they're just electric to watch.
They are, and they're also scary. I mean, Esther Little was outside the three-point line when she made that pass, but you know what? She recognized that Hybens saw her, and Hybens' defender had no idea where she was, and so it was a safe pass to make, and now Hybens gets to shoot free throws.
After the miss, Mount still has 16 points tonight for the Bulldogs and 8 rebounds. We're on double-double watch for her. What a weekend she has had. She had 19 against Portland on Thursday. What has turned around for her, Michelle?
You know, I think, I'm not sure exactly what it was that has turned around for her, but sometimes when you just have a breakout game like she had against Portland and you continue to carry it with you, you build that confidence, right? And so if Hybens can continue to carry this throughout conference play, it's going to bode well for the Zags.
Here's Little for Betancourt to Hybens, who's been red hot. Zags love this fast perimeter passing. Hybens going to work. Herself, yes ma'am. 19 points. That ties her Portland game.
Hey, keep feeding the well, right? Right now, Hybens is the hot hand. Absolutely. Keep giving her the basketball.
She is now tied for her career high for points in a game. She forces a turnover there. Bulldogs will get it back, and Allie Turner comes back onto the floor for Gonzaga.
And this is, you know, at this point, great. You see great turn by Hybens, just being patient, using her pivot foot, finding that angle, knocking it down. She is the hot hand. They are going to continue to feed the well.
Allie Turner back out there to run point for the Bulldogs. Is she the best true freshman we have seen at Gonzaga since Courtney Vandersloot, Michelle?
I would say so, yes. I mean, even the Trong sisters, when they came in, they were great basketball players, but I don't know that their IQ was quite at Allie Turner's level as freshmen.
Salenbein missed the big three. Allie Turner has scored double digits in 13 games this year for the Zags. Vandersloot did it 27 times in her freshman campaign, so Turner could get there this year. That's a foul on Allie Turner as she drove by. That's going to be number 4.
And a difficult game today for Allie Turner, as we're seeing with these fouls. That's frustrating for her. She has spent most of this game on the bench because of those fouls. But a nice opportunity to see Betancourt come in and run the floor for the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Michelle, you're a former Gonzaga assistant. You tell us, is this Allie just having an off game, or has Santa Clara found a way to get her into trouble?
You know, honestly, I think it's just her having an off game. Those are typically not fouls that she does. She's a smart player, but you know what? Sometimes you have one of those games.
That's a foul on Pollard. Got her hand too far in there as Betancourt drove through.
And Pollard, a key player for the Broncos, now picking up, is that her third?
Yeah, her third. So Betancourt to inbound as this lead continues to expand for Gonzaga. This was a tie game midway through the second quarter.
The Zags really pulled away with their defense, as we saw, trapping, getting aggressive, and then they're shooting, right? I mean,
Ajum. Out of bounds. Go ahead, Michelle.
They're shooting a great percentage. Above 70%, you're going to win basketball games that way. And Santa Clara obviously not shooting as well as they would like to, but you got to contribute this to Gonzaga's defense. They did a great job of dictating this game early on and telling the Broncos what style of game they wanted to play.
Ajum through traffic and missed that one. Boy, and no foul. So great to just have the chance to finish even if you missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Latu. Only has 6 points. Goes all the way to the hoop and converts. Make that 8 for her now.
Athletic play by Latu there. She was clear out by the Gonzaga sign there. Dribbled around Ajum all the way to the rim.
Dalton to Little. Off the ball foul on Santa Clara. Unnecessary, down 21 points. And that's on Olivia Pollard. That's her third. Clara O'Connor comes back in, subs out Bree Salenbein. So obviously Bree, her third game back from her ACL tear, they have her on a minutes restriction as Dalton comes up short on that one. Has Bree looked good in her minute restriction to you, Michelle?
Yes, I mean, she looked great against Portland. I'd say very efficient.
Oh, Ejim rejected.
And got the ball back. Great play by the All-American there.
Oh, she's the best.
That's so tough. You see a breakaway, and not only do you get rejected, and then the ball bounces off of you.
It's not even a question of stop her or contain her. It's how can you contain her to under 20 points and 5 rebounds and a block. The referees are going to take a second look at this one potentially. They are. Both teams will head back briefly to the bench as they want to see if this actually did go off the hands of Santa Clara after that Ejim rejection.
It looked to me from my angle on the screen that we're watching here, Greg, that it did bounce off of Santa Clara from Ejim's rejection.
Elbow, right?
Yeah.
Or forearm?
Elbow or forearm hits the Santa Clara player, but you see the Broncos head coach asking the referees for a replay because from his angle, he did not see that.
Santa Clara's interim coach, Michael Floyd, this year. He's in his 9th year with the program. How they do this year will have an impact on whether that interim title gets taken off.
Yes, I'd imagine that's a difficult but probably fun. It's an opportunity, right, for a coach to step into that role. But as you said, Greg, it's also like, okay, we got to perform if I want to keep this spot.
Pretty fun place to coach basketball as well, Levy. It's one of the great buildings in the West Coast Conference to play in and watch a game in.
You know, I would say, Greg, honestly, going into this game, I was telling my family the Levy Center was actually one of my favorite places to play in.
It's great.
It is. There's something about it.
Nothing quite like it when the Gonzaga men's team is in town as well and Santa Clara's student section gets all the way full. It's a pretty great building.
It is. Steve Nash.
Couple recent NBA players as well. Don't forget that.
Yes, you're right.
But yeah, Steve Nash still the GOAT at Santa Clara.
Still
no
the
doubt.
GOAT. I know. Nobody has superseded him yet.
No. And we'll get an explanation from our referees here. Okay, so the play they're actually reviewing is back down on the other end. Santa Clara's coach Michael Floyd wanted to see if there was a hook and some contact when Gonzaga was on defense. So they're not talking, when Santa Clara was on defense, they're not talking about the Yvonne Ejim rejection.
Gotcha. It was the Yvonne Ejim and Pollard collision down low that he wanted a replay on. I could see that. There was a lot of contact down there.
Play will stand. Coach Floyd looks not particularly happy.
You know, you wonder if it's also just a plug to say, hey, catch your breath, you guys. We got 1:51 to finish out this third quarter. Can we make an extra push to get ourselves back in this game?
Unsuccessful challenge goes down in the books. Bulldogs still lead by 21 as we hit the under 2-minute mark here in the third quarter. Over to Clara O'Connor. Betancourt looking to distribute. O'Connor looking to shoot and misses. And Hannah Rapp the rebound. She's been good on the boards today.
Yeah, she has been great on the boards, which is exactly what they need.
Latu underneath with a circus shot. It won't go. Pollard the rebound to Korolenko. She misses the three. And Betancourt getting aggressive with the forearm there to Dalton. And the Zags will slow it down. Ejim to O'Connor. A lot of passing here for this Bulldogs team today. A lot of assists. Down low. Hybens missed it. Off the ball foul. On the ball foul, actually, on Hybens. That's going to be her Her first personal. Good for her, considering how aggressive she's been today, that's her first foul.
Yes, and how many minutes she's had, too. Hybens has had a great game and just picking up her first foul in the end of the third.
So Hannah Rapp will go to the free throw line here as Cristobal Osorobo checks back in for the Bulldogs. Dalton to the bench. This third quarter has been electric for Gonzaga. They've opened up a 20-point lead. Santa Clara on the whole game after this quarter shooting just 33%. Santa Clara's got the best defense in the conference, but today it's looked like Gonzaga does. Betancourt, no on the three. Her three-point shooting has been off recently after she hit that big one to start the game.
It has. You're right. But what I'd like to see out of Betancourt is a couple of steals and some key rebounds. That has really done a great job for the Zags.
Betancourt tipped it right into the hands of Latu. A 6-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock as Korolenko misses. Latu flies in and still gives it up. No shot clock, 10 in the quarter. Betancourt. 5. Ejim squaring, shooting, can't get the roll. Hybens the putback, it goes down. They'll count it, and that's a career high for Mount Hybens to end the quarter. She's got 21.
Great job by Hybens. You like to see that from her. You see that Ejim rising up, Hybens still working around, pulling down that rebound and getting the extra points to go. What a night for Hybens.
It's a party in Spokane. Zags by 22. We're back to the kennel in a second. What a night for the great Mount Hybens as we welcome you back. Bulldogs leading 63-41 to start the fourth quarter. Career high 21 points as she hit that buzzer beater to close the third. 9 rebounds. She's on double-double watch. And especially great considering her previous career high that she set 2 nights ago in that huge win against Portland. Claire O'Connor for 3.
Nice look for Claire O'Connor there. Feet were set. She's a nice little lefty shooter. Good to see her knock that ball down.
Mount Hybens being back in the scoring game, Michelle, what does that open up for this team?
Oh, man, it opens up so much. Now they've got 2 threats inside with her and Ejim. It's really, truly going to bode well for them as they go throughout conference play, knowing that they could expect major points out of 2 of their inside post players.
Foul on Claire O'Connor down low for the Bulldogs. And still only 1 personal foul on the night for Mount as well after she fouled out in that nationally televised brutal overtime loss against Oregon State. She's really been on a come-up since that game.
She has, and she's a great player. She takes correction very well, and it's fun to see her coming alive right now in this conference play.
Pollard through the paint, missed it. Dalen a great rebound and shovels it to Betancourt. Good opportunity for her to work on passing this quarter. Nearly gave that one up, but saved it. And O'Connor will give this opportunity, this possession, a second chance. Ten on the shot clock for the UConn transfer. Dalen draws the foul.
You see the Broncos just kind of breaking down defensively, not communicating through screens. Dalen being able to take advantage there, create contact, and get herself to the free throw line.
4th foul on Olivia Pollard. Not that it matters much for the score of the game at this point, but they've done a good job in so many ways bottling her up. Still one of the smoothest shots on this team, McKinley Dalen.
Yes, she is. You know, and I think Hybens having the game that she's having is probably what has thrown Pollard off a little bit in her game, too, and having to guard both her and Ejim, that's a tall task, and then be expected to score points for your team as well.
Yeah, best of luck with that assignment. Ingram through the paint, tipped away. Osorobo gave it up, and Pollard there to collect and finish for Santa Clara.
Nice to see Santa Clara kind of sticking with it and keeping a hand on a basketball.
Zags have loved this perimeter passing quickly all game long. It's kept Santa Clara on their toes and helped them penetrate the zone. O'Connor. Oh, just around and off with traffic in her face. That would have been something.
It's a good look by O'Connor.
She loves the three, and she's been good about it a lot of this year.
And a lefty shooter is so hard to guard.
Why is that?
Because everybody's typically right-hand dominant.
2 from Pollard. Go
Great
ahead.
job by Pollard there, converting 2 points. But you're used to guarding a right-handed shooter, and so when you raise your hand to, just contest the shot, it's opposite. So they have a clear lane and look for the rim.
Ejum got it. She is 1 point away from 2,000.
And
a lot of record watches for her.
I think we're going to see it.
Yeah, 7.5 minutes.
I think we'll see it.
Probably right. Pollard, great form despite Osorobo being in her face. To Narrow, and they'll get another bite at the apple here. That was impressive. All the way wrapped through traffic. Under 7 to go in this one. Here's Ejum. Great passing. Vonnie for O'Connor. She got that 3. Missed one, hits it from the exact same spot the next time down.
Hey, shooters like O'Connor, I don't care if you miss one, you say keep shooting it. If you're open and your feet are set, let her fly.
The sophomore 3 for 6 from outside tonight. Foul on Santa Clara. They'll send Goodchild back into the game and take off Rapp. That foul's on her.
On Santa Clara or Gonzaga? Was that on O'Connor, I think?
Oh, it's on O'Connor. They'll send her to the bench. Hybens comes back in to try to improve upon her already best career night. Things you love to see.
I'd say why not? Keep building her confidence.
Yep. We have an offensive foul on Alana Goodchild on the inbound pass. This will be Gonzaga ball. Shot does not count. And Allie Turner comes back in with 4 fouls for the Bulldogs to run point here. Kind of a weird game for Allie Turner. Michelle, if you were still on staff for Gonzaga, what would you want her to work on after this game?
After this game, I just say, hey, chalk it up to a few bad defensive plays. You got into foul trouble early, kind of got you out of the flow of the game. I like that shot from her right there. She knocks those down. That's okay. But really, truly, Allie just never had a chance to get into the flow of the game today. But if she had to work on a few things, I'd just say defensively, make sure you don't get any easy fouls right off the bat.
Here she goes. And now to Salenbein. The last 3 games, period, Allie has been more bottled up by teams. Is that just teams knowing how to guard her now?
Yes, and that's the other thing is just say, hey, you need to expect they're going to throw their best defensive players at you every single game. So what are you going to bring when they do that?
Foul. Here we go. This will be a nice opportunity for her to have a showcase moment and do this from the free throw line. As the Broncos send Rapp back into the game and send Nero off.
The easiest place to score points, right?
Sure. Here's Ejum with 1,999 career points. And make it 2,000 for one of the true GOATs of this program. Pretty sensational career in every single way.
It truly is. That is a big stat to put up there. Not very many do it. Ejum did it with so much poise and style. Love to see her get those accolades.
Less than 200 more as Latu finishes there to pass the great Heather Bowman. Do you think she can do it?
I do. I really do. And you know what? She's just such a great all-around player. Academically, a hard-working student inside the classroom as well. And she's one of those kids that you're like, you love to see somebody like that succeed.
Salenbein, baseline drive. Turner, 3.
No, it has not been Allie's night. Ingram on Turner. Good for her, not the foul. She's already got 4. We do have a foul on the floor, though. That'll be on Hybens.
Great defense by Allie Turner there.
Just careful defense.
Yes.
We'll take a break as we head down the home stretch. Bulldogs are running away with this one against Santa Clara. Zags by 26 as we welcome you back to Spokane. During the commercial break, the crowd celebration for the great Yvonne Ejim, who scored her 2,000th career point at the free throw line. And some great Zags in the building to see it. The great J.P. Batista was in the first row on his feet, congratulating her as well. Michelle, she is a Mount Rushmore Zag.
She truly is, and she deserves all the credit. She is one of the hardest workers, team players, just a true competitor, and fun to see her put those numbers up. She deserves all of it.
And we said during the last segment of the game that we think she can catch the great Heather Bowman. About 155 more points for her to catch her. Seems doable with what, like 15 games left in the regular season, not to mention Vegas, not to mention March Madness.
Postseason, yeah, absolutely. She could get that done. She's averaging 20 points a game, putting up lots of numbers, lots of rebounds. I think we could see it happen this season.
Zags gave that one away on the inbound. So stay Santa Clara's ball. No, this will be Zag ball, actually. Allie Turner to check back in and inbound. What a dish from Salenbine to Ejim. Oh, 2 at the free throw line. Oh, they're just having fun at this point, Michelle.
They really are. But you know what? If we go back to that play, that gets set up by the screen from the freshman Allie Turner. Beautiful screen down low to free Ejim up, and Allie held it. Ejim got open. Normally she knocks those down, but she has 2 chances at the free throw line.
It's the first. And got the second. Mount Rushmore of Zags as Vonnie heads to the bench. She's on there. Courtney Vandersloot, Heather Bowman is number 4 now up for discussion. Is she solidified top 3? After this year, she has to be.
Oh, 100%. She is solidified. She is one of the all-time greats here at Gonzaga. I mean, putting up numbers like she has year after year.
This whole program breathed a sigh of relief when she chose to come back after the off this year. 2 into the paint, kicks, Ingram 3, fouled.
And there's another foul outside the 3 by the Zags on a shooter. Ingram will go to the line to shoot 3, or excuse me, Latu, and that just can't happen.
No.
Closing out on a 3-point shooter and fouling, oh, it is Ingram, I'm sorry. That's just textbook. You can't do it. And the Zags have had 2 of those.
3 for 8 shooting forward. She's had a good game.
She really has. She's hustled. She probably hasn't shot the ball as well as she's would like to, shooting percentage-wise, but she's done a great job for the Broncos today.
If you were Santa Clara, obviously after you beat Wazoo the way you did in surprise fashion, you were hoping for a better outcome today. If you're the Broncos, what good stuff can you take away that you did today?
You know, I think the good things would be defensively, they really truly have done a great job. They're a better defensive team, but some of the takeaways are just, hey, we had good looks. We just didn't shoot the ball well. So they had opportunities. They just couldn't convert.
There's Mount Hybens on the second chance. More important. Portland 23-10 and still counting against the Broncos.
That is going to be a tough Gonzaga team to beat as they go throughout conference. And you've got Hybens putting up a double-double. You've got Ejim putting up a double-double. Yes, Allie Turner, as we've said, hasn't had the greatest game tonight, but other people have stepped up, and they are going to be tough to beat if they keep this show going.
Mia Curtis checks in off the bench for Santa Clara. Curtis went to Minnehaha Academy in Minnesota, and if you're a Gonzaga fan watching, that name might sound familiar to you. Here she is for 3. Curtis long on the three. And that's because two Gonzaga legends went to Minnehaha Academy. Latu drives and misses. The great Chet Holmgren and the great Jalen Suggs. So fun Gonzaga connections with her all over the place. Chet, of course, killing it right now with Oklahoma City. Jalen killing it with Orlando as Clara O'Connor misses. And Esther Little chases it down. Turner around and off. That's a tough one to stomach.
Those are always tough to stomach. They're half in and then they rattle out.
Speaking of the great Jalen Suggs, bad news last night. He left the game in a wheelchair against Toronto with back spasms.
You never want to see that.
Dalen down low, contact, no foul. Little, second chance. O'Connor cutting and draws contact. Yeah, that was a scary moment with Jalen leaving the game last night.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when you're like, okay, it's an official break or something, you know, a bone break or ACL tear, but the back spasms, those can be so difficult to come back from, especially with as physical as the NBA is, and he's going against some big, tough guys.
There's O'Connor, 10 points for her. It's been a really good week for her. She played well against Pepperdine with 11 on Monday. Double-figure game again today. They don't need 10 from her, but when you get 10 from her, that means it's been a good night for the team.
Yeah, agreed. She kind of chips in those extra points, and you want to have a consistent, 8 to 10 points from Clara O'Connor and to really round out the team.
No doubt. Here's Ingram. Zags have done a good job trapping all night. Strong rebound by Esther Little. Esther's been all over the floor in an aggressive way tonight as well.
That's kind of what she does. She cleans up a lot of plays, getting those rebounds, loose balls. She kind of takes care of that 50-50 battle.
Sure. O'Connor has loved the right wing for threes, but she won't pull here. Turner drives. Gives it up for Osorobo. Dalen. Long two, no. Foul as Curtis came down with that ball.
And Esther Little, we're just talking about her cleaning up some of those 50-50 balls and getting her hand in there. On that one, though, she can get caught sometimes reaching, trying to get an offensive rebound there, and she picks up a foul.
Clara O'Connor to the bench. She's been great. She joins Ejim and Hybens, who are also just sensational today. And she misses the first. The great Paige Becker's also from Minnehaha Academy. They've
really?
Played high school ball there at the same time as Jalen Suggs. It's a heck of a high school.
Yeah, it is. Greg, I think anytime you've got 9 players putting points on the board, that is going to be a good sign for a win in any game in conference play.
Luckily for Vera Goodnight, that was not a foul because she could have gotten whistled for a couple different things on that board.
Yes.
But with about a minute to go, why extend it? Tipped away a little, great interception. And Turner slows down and stays on the right side of the line. That was a good heads-up ball. Inside a minute to play. Boy, this game was tied midway through the second, and the Zags absolutely pulled away. Foul on McKinley Dalen. We'll send this back Santa Clara's way with inside a minute to go.
Moving screen there. But, yeah, Greg, Gonzaga doing a good job of just creating the tempo that they wanted early on, knocking down shots. And like we said, 9 players putting points on the board. That is going to get you a W most games in conference play.
No doubt. No. Great rebound by Latu. She's been all over the floor. Wide open. Karolenko finishes. So this game will in all likelihood not end up a 30-point win for Gonzaga, but they'll take whatever it is. And all of a sudden, this team is right back in the hunt for the West Coast Conference Championship after a slow start with those losses to USF and Oregon State.
But a lot to take away from this game. Confidence on a lot of levels from different players, right? Hybens having a great game. Allie Turner not having the best game, but I like to see her staying aggressive and getting herself to the free throw line.
Want some stuff to feel good about. You can just see the look on her face that she is not happy with how she played today.
I know, and you know what? That's a good thing. That means she's a hungry player. She's going to come out of this. She's going to learn. She's going to get better, and I guarantee you we're going to see a better Allie Turner the next time out.
I'm not sure Coach Fortier was all that happy with going to the free throw line here. And here's Turner.
You know, I think every freshman is allowed a game like this, like Allie Turner has had, right?
Courtney Vandersloot had him too.
Yep. Sometimes these games are what make you better. It's not the ones you win all the time and putting up a ton of points.
And we had a foul with 1.5 on the shot clock here. That's on Esther Little, as Lauren Grover just got into the game. She's only played in about a third of the games they've played this year. And she gets a point here at the free throw line. That's nice. All right, Michelle, big takeaway from this game if you're Coach Fortier. What is it for the Bulldogs?
You know what? Big takeaway is great job shooting the basketball, getting all your team members involved. Their passing was phenomenal. They really turned it on in that second quarter. And we saw a great Gonzaga basketball team today, a lot to take away, and confidence being one of them going into more conference play.
Truly, truly, what a great one. There's Yvonne Ejim. She gets to 2,000 career points. But our player of the game is Maut Hybens, who double-doubles for the second consecutive game this weekend. Had a career high against Portland on Thursday and now gets a whole new spot in her personal record book. 23 points on 10 for 14 shooting, 10 rebounds. Boy, an assist. She was unbelievable.
She really was. I mean, honestly, if Hybens can keep having games like this, and then Ejim, we all know what Ejim brings. She brings her All-American status every single game. This is going to be a fun road into conference play for the Zags.
Other notable stats before we say goodbye. Ejim was only 2 assists away from a triple-double. Claire O'Connor also into double figures with 11 points and 4 assists. Well, this Bulldog team, Michelle, is back on track after the slow start to conference play.
Yes, they are. I'd say they're back on track. They've got their confidence underneath them, and they are ready to continue and tackle more play.
For the great Michelle Clark and the rest of our ESPN Plus broadcast crew, led by the inimitable Stephen Carr, I'm Greg Talbot saying good night from Spokane, where the Bulldogs win 82-55, and it's another great day to be a Zag in Hooptown, USA.